What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back with another coin roll hunt. And for the first time in several months, we got our hands on a box of quarters. And this video has been inspired by Coin Crew, who released a video just yesterday about the 2021 Philadelphia Crossing the Delaware error quarters. Some of those things are going for $10, $30, $50, $70, $100. And it just so happened that my bank had an entire box of what looked to be mostly uncirculated 2021 Philadelphia Crossing the Delaware quarters. So let's jump into this thing. So what I'll do in this video is, probably pull you guys in and do a random roll together on screen. And of course, if I find anything, I will bring you guys in for sure. But before I get in, this is roll number 1, by the way, and you can see they're all, that's focusing. These are all going to be, or at least mostly going to be 2021 Philadelphias. And we see the Crossing the Delaware there. What I'd like to do is put on screen, thanks to Coin Crew, so all these screen images came from his video that he posted yesterday, and I'll also link to the video in the description down below. All the things we're looking for, they're all mainly die chips here in the crown part, or the hat part of Washington. And there's some double dies that you can look for in his face. But I'll put those on screen so you know what we're looking for, and I'm sure at some point in this video I will throw some eBay listings on here so you can see what these things are worth. So this may be a really short video because we find nothing, or it could be a real long video because we find lots of stuff. But we will be looking at a whole lot of 2021 Philadelphia Washington quarters. So we're into this very first roll, and I didn't bring you in for each one because I wanted to get through the whole roll and get an idea of what we were looking at. But you can see I've got kind of 4 little piles here. This is the largest bit of the 40 quarters out of the first roll, and I think this is going to be what looks normal, and I'll show you that in a minute, on the hat. Then I understand there's a DDR from the pictures that I showed you earlier where there's kind of a line in the hat, and I've got a lot of different versions of it. These are all the really nice, crisp, clean, long version of it, and these are all kind of weird ones. So I'm going to just show you a couple so you see what we're dealing with, but it looks like I've got about 8 or 9 of each. So we'll start with something normal. So let me grab one of those. So you can see here in the hat, we have no lines, right? This is nice and smooth and round, and it's just a hat. So I got like a bunch of those. But then that first stack I showed you, or the stack where I said we got little ones, it looks like it's almost post-mint damage. But I have a bunch that have this same little notch in the same place. So it's possible that in the manufacturing process, there's something that's catching on these. There it is again, causing this little notch. Or is this some sort of weird DDR? I'm not real excited by these. I just wanted to show them to you in case you knew what it was better than I did. But what I see typically online around the, you have a DDR when, it's when it looks like this. You have almost this entire part of the hat that's doubled right here, right? And I've got 9 of those, and I'll just pop a couple, 2 or 3 up here for you. Actually, that's one of the bigger ones. This one's set back a little bit. But you can see it's right in line with this hat. So I don't think that's post-mint damage. Let's take a look at this one. There you go. Really good example of that one. Now, I didn't find any of the die chip errors yet, but I've got a whole bunch of these, 9 of them to be precise. So let me know what you guys think. Is this the DDR or no? Based on what I've seen online, I'd say it is, and I've got to go look up the value. I don't think they're too valuable, especially considering I found 9 in the first roll, but I'll set these aside and we'll keep a tally. So let me get into the second roll. So just finished going through roll number 2, and like before, we had the larger DDR, if you will, the long line up the hat. We only found 3 of those in this roll. We found a whole bunch that had the thicker, further back to cleave or line in the hat, sort of just further back. But I did find 2 die cracks that I hadn't seen before that I wanted to show you guys. Right there. So this one also has that sort of, I'll call it a cleaved line in the hat. I don't think it's supposed to be there because I have so many that it's completely solid, and the DDR usually shows up right up here along the edge. But this one has a die crack right here through the hat, and I actually had two that were like that, I believe. This one could, I guess, be post-mint damage, but it was in a real similar spot. And you'll notice here we don't have the big line. So I'm not sure. I'm going to set these two aside as die cracks, and we'll move on to roll number 3. So I'm about 19 rolls in, and this has been really slow going, and I'm about to stop for the night. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update as we go here on where we're at and just show you a couple of things. So I've got a couple of stacks here. That is just over $10 worth of kind of strange DDR-like coins. Let me put one on the scope here. I'll scope here. Stack. I showed you these earlier in the video. They have the sort of DDR-like line, but on most of these it's kind of much deeper in. It's like here, or it's here, or it's a little bit smaller, but that DDR doesn't carry down into the nose and the bridge here. So like I said, I've got about $10 worth of those. Now, this stack here, this is 25, almost 2750 worth of what I believe to actually be DDRs. I've pulled a couple of examples here to the side that I want to show you to just show you the difference from the last coin. This is a standard coin. You just saw the previous coin, but on the standard coin, there's no line. You know, no line anywhere in here. And you can see the bridge just sort of comes down here, drops, and we move into the nose. Okay? Well, I have two examples here from that 2750 or so where you can see very clearly that we've got this extra line from the hat, and then we've got sort of an extra ridge coming off the eye. So what was coming out and going down, we've actually got two of them. Right? So to me, that's the telltale that this is likely a DDR. Right? And I've got a bunch of those. Let me see if I can do this really quickly. This is the wrong one because I wanted to show you guys on eBay what I am seeing. I think it's this one. And theirs is a little bit more pronounced. How do I get in here? I guess I can just do it this way. You can see where they've got the arrows. That's what I'm talking about. You've got that little bit of extra bridge on the eye, right? And you have that very distinct line coming down from the hat. And there's the example right next to it with no doubling. Now theirs goes down into the nose. I have a couple of examples that get down that far into the nose. Most of them end up around the eye. So this particular listing sold, if I can find it. I can't find it now. It actually sold for $39. Now, if that's true and I have $27.50 worth of these and I can get $40 a piece for each of them, I've just hit the jackpot. I'm not sure that's going to happen though. Really quickly, the other coin that I wanted to show you is, and this is also on eBay. I think it's being mistaken for machine doubling, but I wanted to show it to you guys, and hopefully this shows up on the camera okay. People are calling this a repunched mint mark, and you can clearly see a little bit of another P here, and a P coming out of here, and an extra stem down here. But to me, this almost looks like a sliding of the plates. Maybe that's a better example there. It's tough to get this when I'm trying to film it and show it on the screen. Ooh, that stuck to my finger. Sorry. But people are calling that a repunched mint mark, and these are going for about $10.50, $10.29. And their backup to show that that is a repunched mint mark is that they are showing on the back some additional doubling, like on the S that you see here in this example that I found. And I've got I don't know, probably $3 or $4 worth of these. Some extra N here and here, some extra N here. But to me, this looks more like traditional machine doubling. And like I said, I'll bring you back over here. All of these follow that example. Some have that machine doubling on the back, some do not, but they all have that same characteristic Philadelphia mint mark. The last thing, and I'll just bring it back up here just as a quick recap. There it is right here. I haven't found anything like this one on eBay yet, but I haven't been able to determine if this is just a die crack or some kind of post-mint damage here. But I'm trying to find something that might indicate whether or not this is interesting for us. But I'm going to close it up here for the night because I've got a lot more quarters to look at, and putting 40 quarters per roll under the scope has been quite monotonous, as you might imagine. But if I did find a bunch of coins that are $39 a pop, and I have $27 worth of them, this has been a really good box to buy. Let me know in your comments down below, or let me know in the comments down below what you think. I think $39 is crazy, but what do you guys think? Do I have something or no? So this will be a quick cut for you, but it'll be tomorrow morning before I pick this back up. So I'm about 25 rolls in, and I continue to find just tons of stuff that I've already shown you guys. The lines in the hat, I hesitate to call it a repunched mint mark, but definitely the fuzzy mint mark. And what I've started to do to make this move a little bit faster is just visually, by eyesight, do a quick look at, excuse those quarters up there, do a quick look at the reverse just to see if you can see with the naked eye the little blob that would be on the hat if it were a die chip error. Because honestly, that's the big thing we're looking for. And so I've been going through like 2 or 3 rolls at a time like this, just to see if something jumps out. It's a little bit like that leaky bucket. When you find a really good leaky bucket error, you don't need a microscope to see it. You don't need a loop. You don't need a magnifying glass. You can just look at the back of the quarter and see it, unless your eyes are just completely shot. So this is what I'm doing right now. Just going through a couple of rolls at a time, getting myself, $30, $40 worth of quarters out, and then taking them back through the scope. I am up to $10, $20, $35 worth of coins that have that line through the hat, the very DDR looking line. I do think it's something. I do see people selling it on eBay. I don't know if it will actually classify as a true DDR though. Variety Vista has not updated their catalog. There's nothing on PCGS about it. So I'm going to pull a handful of them and hang on to them. I'll probably throw 1 or 2 on eBay just to see what I can get for them. But I definitely am not going to hang on to $40 worth of them unless I sell one really, really quickly for a bunch of money. And then, of course, I'll sell them all a few at a time. All right, well, no die chip errors on those, so I just wanted to bring you in and have a little chat. I don't want to keep you because, as you can see, it takes quite a while to go through all 40 quarters in a roll, and I still have 24 rolls of quarters left. So I'll bring you in when we find something new. So we are finally finished going through all of those 2021 Philadelphia Washington quarters. And I want to take you over to the computer to kind of give you the wrap up, because I did pull a ton of stuff. We talked about, in an earlier part of the video, I showed you some potential repunch mint marks that people are claiming they have on eBay. I pulled some kind of strange, I think it's kind of post-mint damage, but it looks a little bit like what people are claiming are the DDR. And I found nearly $50 worth of coins that people on eBay are claiming a DDR, and I wanted to dig into that a little bit with you guys on the computer, on eBay listings, and some other websites I found to see, did we really find anything, or all these coins really just 2021 Philadelphia's with some die deterioration or possibly some machine doubling. So let's get over to the computer and we'll find out together. What I wanted to do is walk you through what I have found on eBay, as well as some postings that I found on coincommunity.com that help push me towards believing that most of these coins, while they're problematic, they're not really DDRs, they're not really repunch mint marks. They're machine doubling, they're standard errors on these coins. That said, people are obviously getting money for these errors. If you look at eBay, here's somebody who thinks they've got a DDO, DDR with a repunch mint mark, which I've got many, many of these things. And this guy's getting $10.49, at least for one. Here's someone who has a DDR, and I showed you numerous ones of those earlier in the video, and we're going to revisit them here in a second. This guy got $39 for this one. Some of the die chip errors, they are going for a lot of money, but many of them are not. Like here's one, they've got the die chip here on the back of the hat, only getting $3 for it. Here's one, actually die chip on the back of the head, $8 or $9 for it. That's nothing to sneeze at. If you get a whole roll of these, that can turn out to be a lot of money. I guess I'm just pointing out that not all of the big die chip errors are getting huge money. This one, they've got multiple here on the back of the head. This guy got, 10 or $11. I really wish I had been able to find some of these die chip errors. I just didn't. So for this video, we are going to focus on really these top two because that's what I had the most of. So let's dive into this. This very first one, the 2021P DDO DDR. The person basically, and we looked at this under the scope. We'll look at it again here in just a second. I've got $3 or $4 worth of these, but that does look a little bit like a repunch mint mark, but it also looks very much like machine doubling, right? When you come into the other example they have to show that this is a DDR, you get the very stair-stepped look to the S, the I, the N, the G. Again, looks very, very similar to machine doubling that you find on a lot of Washington quarters. So to get you over to my scope, and this is just one that I've pulled, you can see here my P looks just like his, and I know that sounded funny. My Philadelphia mint mark looked just like his. I've got a little bit more grease on this corner, but that supposed doubling is nearly identical. And when you look at the SSING, again, mine's not quite as pronounced, but you can still see that little bit of stair-stepped machine doubling in all of these letters. Again, I think mine's not as pronounced because it's a little bit more of a grease strike. You can just see a lot of grease here on the coin itself. But I have $3 or $4 worth of these. Honestly, I probably found 10 of these in every single roll throughout that box. So had I kept all of them, figure 50 rolls times 10 coins, I would have had 500 of these. So I think as this coin floods the market, as people continue to think it's a repunched mint mark, you're going to find they become worthless pretty quickly. So like most of these things, I'll hang on to a handful of them, maybe a couple of bucks worth, and try to sell them and see what I can get for them. But I don't think long term this is a coin that is going to turn into much. The other coin that we want to look at that I found a whole bunch of is this supposed DDR, okay? So again, we are looking at the hat, the big line coming down through the hat, maybe the little bit of chip on the nose, and the little bit of doubling in the eye, okay? So I know I said earlier in the video I thought that was proof that we had a DDR and it was a telltale sign of a DDR. But here's one of my coins that I'm putting back here under the scope. And I'm going to turn it so the light will hit it just so. There we go. But you can see here I have that same line. I have that same little doubling. It looks like I have the same little doubling of the eye right here. And that's where it ends. But these coins look very, very similar. Now, on coincommunity.com, it's this one, a new poster back on, what day did they do it? I don't see the date they posted. I'm sure you guys see it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There it is, 6/19/2021. They posted nearly an identical coin. Little chip in the nose, little chip in the eye, and the line up the hat. They also pointed out a lot of this doubling within the back of the coin. And let me see mine. Let's look up at the up here at the lettering. This one doesn't seem to have a bunch. I might have one that does. Let's try another one. I may not. I may have to go back through, but I'm sure I have one that will meet that same standard. But when you get down here into the comments, you'll see over and over again, I agree, it's die deterioration or machine doubling. right? All machine doubling. Then they go on to explain how you can tell the difference between machine doubling and double die. So I do not believe that this coin is truly a double die. And again, you can go on coincommunity.com and look this up for yourself. I'm trying to think, there were a couple of folks in here that did. I'm not sure. Rest looks like machine doubling. Looks like die deterioration, machine doubling, right? So again, this is one I pulled about $50 worth of these. I will put one or two on eBay and see if I can get a few bucks for it. But the reality is, I don't think PCGS is ever going to recognize this as a double die. So I wouldn't waste time trying to send something like this in for grading or get too excited about it. So sorry for the cut there. I was hunting to find the right quarters. The other version of this supposed DDR is, rather than having the line right here along the hat, it had this little cut in the hat further back. Some of them were real long, some were real short. But I pulled these to show why I think this is actually post-mint damage and not anything caused by the mint. And it's because I've got a couple of quarters I'm going to show you here that the damage, the line isn't just here. The damage actually goes all the way down into the head. So to me, this looks like during manufacturing, during, rolling, somewhere in the process of being transferred around in bags, these things are getting nicked to look like some sort of doubling on the hat, especially when there's no damage down here. So this is one version of it. Let's see here. I think I've got a couple, 3 or 4 of them here. Here's another one. You can see that cut comes right on down here into the eye. That's another one. Let's see, I've got one more I'm going to show you. Here is a third one. Comes right down here into the eye. Now I have a bunch of them that the whole face is clean, but the cut is just up here in the hat. So you'll immediately think, oh, it's some kind of doubling, but it's not. I'm going to say it's not. I think it is some form of post-mint damage. So all of these that I pulled, and these I only pulled about $10 worth. Again, I threw back hundreds of those because they're really easy to find within a roll of quarters, and that's also why I believe that they are worthless. I had a couple other that I pulled aside, like this one. I think it's some kind of die crack right here. I wasn't able to find anything major on this particular coin. I think this could also just be some post-mint damage, so gonna toss this one back in the bin. I don't think there's any real money to be had there. So one more thing that I want to show you guys, and I'm doing this maybe a little bit more as a buyer beware scenario. I saw this listing on eBay and started checking all of my coins for this particular quote-unquote error, and it is the Crossing the Delaware with 5 buttonholes, first found DDO DDR. And what this person is claiming, let me actually get one of these quarters so you can see it under my scope here, is that on the jacket there are 1, 2, 3, 4 buttonholes. I'm going to go back to that listing. This guy claims he has found the first DDR where there is a 5th buttonhole. And you can see right here in his fuzzy photograph, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttonholes. Now, when you look at it under actual regular light, you can tell very clearly this is just post-mint damage in a very convenient place. So if you see this one, please run. Don't spend $25 on this quarter. In my hunting through a bunch of these coins, I did find a number of them that had some kind of damage along this stretch. I didn't find any as conveniently placed as his, like right here in the perfect spot. I had a bunch with nicks and cuts up here, some in here, some going the wrong direction. I think he just got lucky and found one that it was damage that just looked like a 5th button. So stay away from that one. I don't think it's anything. I think it's post-mint damage. But, if you disagree and want to buy one, you can knock yourself out. It's something I'm staying away from. So this one I think has been confirmed. This is a die clash error, and this is one that actually, this is on eBay right now. One has already sold. I don't think the guy got $20 for it. This is a die clash. And hopefully I still have that listing up. I think it might be here. Yep, so you can see somebody's taken the time to show you how the reverse sits on top of the obverse and vice versa. And you can see very clearly how this little jut out from Washington's throat could make this. So that has supposedly been confirmed. I did not find any of those going through my quarters, but this is supposedly a good die clash error. So I would keep an eye out on these. I think this is the kind of error that if it is plentiful, you should be able to find without a scope. So keep your eyes out for that one. So anyway, to wrap this up, I'm just going to wrap it up here on the computer. I went through $500, 2,000, is that right? 40 times 50, 2,000 2021 Philadelphia Crossing the Delaware quarters. There was not a single Denver. There was not a single misplaced quarter. They were all legitimately 2021 Philadelphia quarters. And I nearly went blind looking at that many under the scope. But I did that for you guys and for me, really. I was hoping to find a couple of really good errors, but unfortunately I didn't. So I hope this video has been informative for you. I hope you learned something. And if I am wrong, I am happy to be proven wrong. So if you think I'm wrong, if you want to add something to this story, please do head down below this video and leave a comment. Because we only get smarter by helping each other. We only help the community by helping each other. So I did this video, at least this thorough at the end, to try to educate you guys on what I found and where I found the information. So with that, I'm going to end here. Apologies if this has been a little long and I've rambled a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I covered everything. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you do like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, it's okay. Hit that dislike button. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And feel free, hit that subscribe button. Only about 20 to 30% of you guys actually hit that button. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'll be doing a few more coin roll hunts this week. My banks are finally starting to get coins in, which is nice. I'm not getting the quantity that I want, but I am getting coin. So I'll do some more coin roll hunts this week. And hopefully we can do some more stuff. I actually have a couple of cool bills that I want to show off that I got over the weekend, just in my pocket change. So you guys take care. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye now.